global volunteer-driven organization with a mission to cultivate tangible opportunities for women, unlock latent potential through accessible training, act as a catalyst for advancement with thought leadership promotion, and empower equity allies of any gender with inclusive mentorship. WiBD India chapter acts as a platform with a specific focus to bridge the divide between industry and academia and to improve women's representation in data and its allied fields at the grassroots level across the country. Can we move to the next slide? So our global sponsors and partners include Intel, SAP, IBM, Microsoft, and many more.
Good evening, everyone. We would also like to take this opportunity to introduce all the members of our team who've made this a success. Starting off, we'll start with the India chapter leaders. We have Dr. Ekta Mehul, who is the director and CEO of Arena Solutions Private Limited. She's a technopreneur and educationist. She has a career of 25 years divided equally in industry and academia. And she has been awarded as the Women Entrepreneur of Gujarat and been invited by US for representing India as in Women in Technology. We also have Ms. Soumya Moni. Ma'am's here with us today as well. She's the director of Incher Technologies Private Limited, and she's a data enthusiast. She has a career of around 22 years in technology marketing with experience in go-to-market strategy, product, services, solutions, portfolio, industry, and the list just goes on. She's an official member of Forbes Communication Council and National Marketing Council member. She received the most influential global marketing leader recognition from World Marketing Congress as well. Introducing our executive council team, we have Mr. Piyush Sharma, who is executive in residence at UCLA and Stanford Seed Consultant. He is a global CEO coach and a C-suite plus startup advisor. We have Dr. Abhilasha Vyas, who is also serving as an executive council member for WiBD India chapter. She brings 19 years of technology, education, and training experience in information technology. We have Ms. Sridevi Murugayan, who has 17 plus years of IT experience and is a passionate developer and problem solver. We have Dr. Bindu Narayan, who is a data science professional with 20 plus years of experience. Moving on, we also have Dr. Surendra Kaushik, who is an innovation director at Volvo Group India and vice president IEEE Technology and Engineering Management Society. And then moving on to our very own, Dr. Jasdeep Kaur Dhanua, who is currently serving as the executive member for WiBD India chapter. As professor in the Government Women Technical University of NCT of Delhi, training and placement officer, experience of head of the department, PI of government projects, she brings 20 years of technology management experience from academia. And last but not the least, we have Ms. Meenakshi Arun, who has 18 plus years of experience in software development, education, and analytics. She's currently serving as the Director of Data and Analytics at Microsoft India.
Now I'd like to move on and talk about the 5 anchor programs of Women in Big Data India, which are namely Vidya, Saraswati, Shakti, Gayatri, and Lakshmi. So starting with Vidya, it manages the knowledge dissemination to bridge the divide between industry and academia. Saraswati manages curriculum design and development with leading practitioners from India and academia. From industry and academia. The Shakti program targets women restarting career or their education. The Gayatri program partners with industry associations and corporates for development and education of programs in developing women leaders. The Lakshmi program hosts job fairs for employers to provide internship and full-time employment opportunities to women. Now moving on to Women in Big Data India partners. So first of all, we have our academia partners, which is our university, Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women. Then we have Christ University and GSFC. Then the industry partners include Infilitics, Arena, ThoughtEdge, and Incher. Now without much further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Madhushruti ma'am. So Madhushruti Roy is currently working as the Director, Global Net Revenue Management at Novartis, a global healthcare company that provides solutions to address the evolving needs of patients worldwide. She has a total of 16 years of experience in consumer industry, driving growth strategy using big data. She has been using data creatively to drive business decisions, and she is passionate about data, growth, and sustainability. She is also a mentor for the Sherry Blair Foundation for Women. Her work experience includes analyst at Sky IQ, customer intelligence services, project manager at HP consultant at GE Capital International Services. She has worked as a senior strategy manager for skincare as well as global hair care in Unilever, and also as a senior strategy consultant at Deloitte. Ma'am, I would like for you to take the stage now.
Thank you so much, Anubhuti. Can I share my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Have I not? Okay. Okay.
Yes,
how about now?
Yes, now your screen
Yes,
is visible, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anubhuti, for the introduction, and thank you for WiBD for the opportunity, and thank you everyone who is joining. I can't see all of you, any one of you, but a big hello. I don't want to talk anything about myself. I think Anubhuti has already told about it. So I'll quickly start, I guess, for what we are starting. I know it's Friday, it's 4 p.m. All of you want to go home. So I don't want to, I'm just between your weekend and this one. So let's start. So as Anubhuti has already said, what I want to talk about today is leveraging big data and analytics in the consumer industry. Okay. So quickly on what I want to touch today, I will quickly talk about the objective of the session. Then I will also quickly touch upon what is big data, what is a different kind of data, what is the different kind of analysis that you can do. And then I will show you 2 to 3 case studies, and then I'll open it up for questions. Okay. Okay. So objective here is to give you an understanding of how big data and analytics is used in consumer goods industry for strategic business decision. Okay, I will. The objective here is to trigger the interest to see how it is done and through business applications. What are the market contexts? What is the kind of business problems we face and how we solve it through data. I will not cover full methodology. I will not cover statistical process. If required, we will use it we can do it in some follow-up sessions, but today it is more of storytelling. Hopefully you will enjoy it, okay? Then so big data in consumer goods. So the first thing, let's just go back a little step back and talk about what is analytics and the rise of analytics, not only, all over the world, right? So historically, if you see, business decisions were taken based on gut feeling, okay, business guts, right? And and to be fair to them, they have done extremely well. So if you look at the Fortune 500 companies in the world, and if you take out the tech giants, which are the new ones like the Amazon and Facebooks and Google, but if you look at the entire retail industry, starting from Walmart to all the oil and gas industry, to the banking, to all the other sectors, you will see that they are almost 100 years ago. Okay, they've been set up 100 years ago where there was no data analytics. Now, without data analytics, they became Fortune 500 companies. Okay, so gut feel worked. Okay, at one point of time. Then what happened, and that happened because starting from the Industrial Revolution to increase of consumers' income, etc. That whole industrialization or capitalism worked, and these big corporations came into being. Okay, about 35 years ago, the companies or the corporations started having the capacity to load big data or to store big data. Okay, and then what happened? They started harnessing big data. And when they started harnessing big data, the magic started to happen. Okay, and they realized that business decisions based on gut is maybe right 50%, but not right 50%. Okay, and if you use data, your decisions are generally 90 to 95% right. if executed properly. The execution is key, okay? But what happened with big data, a lot of big data, a lot of insights, a lot of stories came up, which was hitherto unknown to the organizations, okay? And that's where the whole explosion of big data came in, and data became the new oil, okay? Which is now leveraging growth across the organizations. In terms of the industries, if you see, financial banks, I mean, banks were the first one to actually capture it, okay, to capitalize it, followed by pharmaceuticals did that, TMT did that, and consumer goods industry actually caught up, okay, but they've caught up, and how? They've done really, really well. And yeah, so now consumer goods industry is using, some of them are using fantastically the whole data and science to take business decisions. Now, when we talk about consumer goods industry, we generally talk about two things, okay? One is the retailers, one is the manufacturers. So manufacturers are ones who is creating or who is actually making the product. So the Coke bottle, and the D-Mart and the Reliance and the Amazon and Walmarts are the ones who are selling it, okay? And in India or in developing countries, we have the general trade, which is the Kinara shops, and so you know what I'm talking about. So, and today I'll mainly focus on the, my examples are mainly from the manufacturers. That's because that's my background. But the analytics that happens between these two groups are very similar, because what is the objective? The objective is to understand what does the consumer want and deliver the product to the consumer at a price, at the right price, with the right pack, in the right channel. And both of them are actually doing the same, okay, in different ways, okay? But the analytics and the objective of both these groups are very, very similar, okay? Now, I also want to quickly talk about what is the different kind of data that is available. There is a gamut of data, and some of the typical or some of the most popular data that we use are the transaction data. So how a consumer is transacting. Household panel data. Household panel data gives you, so most of these agencies like Nielsen or Kantar World Panel, they have this household panel data. Households say that, okay, we are happy to be a part of this survey, and then they survey these households for various consumer habits, okay? Then you have the brand analysis, where you talk about brand equity, brand love, brand do, brand say. So that's a different, I mean, maybe we can have another session on the entire brand analysis piece that happens, yeah? Then you have the demographic data to understand the consumer. You have the social media data. That's the most interesting one right now, right? So from the Twitter to the Instagram to FB, so we are trying to get data. And then secondary research, which is the most traditional way of data in consumer goods, which is about having the questionnaire, sending out the questionnaire and getting information from the consumers, okay? And with this data, different kind of analysis can be done, okay? I think I've given some examples, but yes, I mean, a lot of different kind of analysis can be done. And we use mostly all this data to come up with business decisions, okay? With this, by saying that, okay, this is the kind of data, this is the kind of analysis, I think this puts me nicely to where I can actually talk about some of the case studies. So I will talk about 3 case studies, all live examples that I have done. Numbers are mocked up. Some of the structures are mocked up because of confidentiality reasons, but this is live data. Okay, this is live work that I have done, and I want to share with you guys. Okay. First thing, okay, so what is the structure that I will follow so that you guys know what will come? I will talk about the business context, I will talk about the approach, and then I will talk about the decision and results. Okay, so let's start with our first case study. First case study that I want to talk about is a portfolio transformation. Okay, so how do we transform a portfolio? Okay, so what is the business called? So what is the category? The category is a beauty and personal care category, and it is a multi-brand portfolio. So for example, if it is Unilever, it will have maybe a Dove, a Vaseline, a Pond's, a Tresemme, a Clear, Sunsilk, all of it. So it is multi-brand. Okay, so when you have multi-brand portfolio, every brand tries to actually have a unique proposition for unique audiences. Okay, so that's the portfolio I have. And what is the current status? Okay, why did we do this project, or why was I mandated to come up with this? So if you look at the consumer industry today, the whole industry is going through a huge change, okay? And the three key changes that we see in the consumer landscape, okay? So number one is localization. So when I say localization, let's take the example of Patanjali. So Patanjali in India is harnessing the local insights of Ayurveda and yoga and all of that, and are coming up with their own FMCG product. Okay, and this kind of local indie products are proliferating across the world. Okay, with different kind of ingredients, with different kind of local needs, etc. Like for China, most of the beauty products are now made of, you know, Chinese herbal, Chinese medicines, etc. So I'm giving you some examples. So one thing that is coming up is localization, and they're doing it really, really well. Okay. Secondly is growing consumer awareness. So consumers like you all, consumers, your cohort, which is the new age cohort, you guys are becoming more and more conscious of what you put on your body, what you eat, what you drink, and also about, you're very conscious of what the brand is bringing. Is it an ethical brand? Is it doing something for the planet? Is it treating its employee well? So there is a lot of consciousness that has come to the consumer, okay? And the third thing is the democratization of distribution. So what is democratization of distribution? So today, if one of you bright minds will say that, okay, I want to make a face mask, okay, and I want to sell it. What will you do? You will come up with a proposition. You can source the face mask somewhere, and then you don't even have to go to an Amazon. You know, you can actually have an Instagram page and start selling it. You can have a WhatsApp group and you can sell it, right? You can go to a Facebook marketplace and you can sell it. 10 years ago, you couldn't have done it. Only the big ones, big company like a Unilever and P&G can actually launch new brands, because you have to have the volume, you have to go to the Kinara shops, you have to go to the Walmarts of the world, where they will say that I need 100,000 units on the first go to have your brand in my place, okay? But now this whole distribution has become democratic. Now, because of this, there is a tailwind that the big manufacturers are facing, in the sense there are some disadvantages the manufacturers are facing and losing share. Okay, so what I was mandated with to say that, okay, with this context, what is the future fit portfolio that we should have? What is the kind of portfolio that we should have? Okay, so I'll talk about it briefly. What did we do? How did we craft a destination portfolio? So what did we do? Here we used two kinds of data, okay? One is the transaction data, okay? So for the transaction data, we looked at three lenses. We looked at the price tiers, so all the price tiering that we have. We looked at the channels, the different channels that we use, and we looked at the product format, because a particular product can have different formats, okay? Three lenses we took. And then we did a growth analysis. We tried to see where is the growth area and where is the gap. Okay. Once we understood the growth areas and the gap, we aligned with strategy and we said that, okay, there could be 10 growth areas, but we will focus on only 3 or 4. Okay. Once we got the 3 or 4 growth areas, we said, okay, what is the new demand space? Is there a new demand space that is coming up? So we actually worked on the demand spaces. That's where we moved from transaction data to web data. So let me show what I'm talking about. Okay. So look at this. Okay, so all mocked up, but this is how the actual structure looks like. So I have these 6 price tiers. Okay, lower economy, where my average price index is less than 70. Then I have economy, 70 to 100. Then I have mass, 100 to 120, premium, and super premium. So these are my price tiers. If you look at my company today, I'm mainly on, most of my 70% of my products are in lower economy and economy. Okay. Now look at the growth rate in the last 2 years. 25% in super premium, 15% premium, 7% mass, 3% in lower economy and economy. Okay. So what does it tell you? It's telling you that the growth is somewhere and your focus is somewhere. Right? So that is creating a tailwind. Similarly, these are all same numbers, but just to give you some idea, if you look at the channels from the discounter to the beauty boutique, these are growing at 3%, beauty boutiques are growing at 25%, okay? Similarly, again, if I look at different products, I will see that this is where I am mostly focused on, but the growth rates are different, okay? We took this and we went to the strategy team and we went to the leadership and we said, this is what it is look like, okay? Then they said, okay, this is where we will focus. We will focus on mass and above. We will focus on these 3 particular channels, and we will focus on treatments and shampoo and conditioner, just to give an example, okay? So now they said, okay, if this is what it is, what is the kind of products that I need to sell? Is there a new demand space, new focus areas that is coming? So what did we do? For each of these, we picked up the top brands, like 20, 30, 40 on each of these. So we had about 300 brands that we analyzed. So how do you analyze the brands? What we did is we went to their website. So for example, OGX. OGX is one of those hair care products which has changed the game for naturals, okay? So if you go to ogx.com, you will see that, okay, what they're doing. So you will get to know their propositions, you will get to know their ingredients, and then you will know what they're talking about. So suppose they're saying that our ads are not filled with celebrity spokesmodels, and we don't try to make hair look perfect, okay? We are, so you get what they're trying to do. They're talking about sustainability, etc. So again, then another brand like Nizoral. Nizoral is actually anti-dandruff, okay? So for all these 100 to 200 brands, we went to their websites, to their Instagram profiles, their propositions, we looked at their advertisements, and we tried to find out what they are focusing on, okay? When we did this for these 200 brands, there are 4 key demand spaces that came out, okay? The first one is, just looking at the time, okay, naturals, so cruelty-free, no parabens, 100% natural ingredients, okay, so there's naturals. Then we had something called therapeutic, so where people are talking about psoriasis, eczema, or dry scalp or hair fall, okay. Then there are new formats that are coming up, maybe shampoo bars, shampoo foams, shampoo mousse, etc. It's not only the liquid shampoo, then these new formats are coming. And then we also saw some target demographics. So men, okay. So initially, I mean, historically, generally our fathers, our brothers, our uncles used to use the same shampoo that we use, but now they are more conscious. They want to use something which is targeted towards men, and then hijab women, because they wear hijab and their hair conditions are different. So you'll see a red and a green. We said we don't want, business said we don't want to go with this, we'll only go with this, okay. So basically what are we saying? So we are saying that, okay, the result is that from a lower priced functional traditional portfolio, we want to go to a premium new demand space focus with new format. Okay, so this is a big project. The journey has started with the top 5 markets, which will be rolled out to further markets. We are already seeing a lot of good results, and especially we are seeing increase in penetration for the younger population. Okay, so this is one of the projects or one of the case studies I'm showing. And here, what you have seen, what are your key takeaways? It is large data, lot of data is there. It's data analysis. There is no statistical methods used. It's pure data analysis, okay? Then we are using web data and then alignment with strategy. Data analytics has to always breach the gap with the strategy. You do your data analytics in one isolation and the business doesn't align with it, it never works, right? So you have to align with the business strategy and come up with something which makes sense for the business. So this is number 1. I have another half an hour. So let me try and do the best in maybe 15 minutes, and then I'll open it up for question. If there are any questions, please hold on to it or write it on this chat, and I'll try and respond to it. Okay. So that's my first case study. The second one, I wanted to take up something which is classic in any kind of analytics, which is consumer segmentation. So segmentation, not only consumer, any kind of segmentation. So let's talk about what did we do for segmentation, the kind of results that came. Okay. Again, it's a beauty and personal care. It's a multi-brand portfolio. manufacturer is number one. It is a number one position with about more than 35% share. All these numbers are mocked up. But however, it is losing market share. It's still number one, but it's losing market share. And we did our first level of analysis, and we have seen that the penetration is decreasing. What is penetration? Penetration is the number of households that are buying your products. Okay, so number of households buying the product is actually decreasing. So what we did is that, okay, with this in mind, the business gave us the mandate that try and find out solution how we can increase our share. Okay, so what did we do? We took household panel data, we used demographic data, we treated the data, and we came up with our first level of segments. I will show you the segments. Once we had the segments, we did consumer connect. So consumer connect through telephone, through Zoom calls, through a questionnaire is a very typical of consumer goods. Okay, because from the transaction data, you only know what I'm transacting. But when you talk to me, you know that, you know, I'm this, I live in Singapore, I have 2 girls, this is my journey, how busy I am, what are my hobbies. So you know the true consumer through a consumer connect or a questionnaire, or you do questionnaires. This consumer connect calls are extremely interesting. I hope you guys get an opportunity to do this, and you get to know so much about people, you get to know about your consumers, and based on that, you actually come up with solutions for them. So after doing all this is what we got. So these are my, suppose, the segments I got: the teenagers, then I got the Muslim population, then I got working moms or multitaskers, you know, who are very, very busy. Then I got very sophisticated elderly ladies, and I got cash-strapped rural women. Okay, there were 14. We got actually 14 segments, and we finally, based on the size of the opportunity, we actually are fixating on these 5. Okay, now once we have these, okay, so we started our consumer connect. So when we started our consumer connect, what did we learn from them? So the teenagers told us that they're just starting to explore skincare. Okay, and they're looking for soft and bright skin, but mom takes decisions. So they don't take decisions, mom. So I think for most of you, mom is still taking decisions, or not, I don't know. But yes, so the teenagers are where moms are still taking decisions. Okay. Then for the hijab wearers, what they are saying is that because the body is already covered, most part of the body is covered, they're saying we don't need hand and body lotion. Okay, and they're saying that when they wear they have a cream and then they wear the hijab, it gives them a very slippery feeling, which they don't like. Okay, and then whitening don't appeal to them because most of the body part is covered. So these are some of the insights I'm talking about. The multitasker mom is saying that I don't have time to take care of myself. So I want something which is very practical and convenient. My skin is fine, but I really don't have the time to now sit down and put cream on my body. Elderly ladies are saying that I am old, my skin is supposed to look bad, so I don't care. Okay, and the other group is saying that I don't have the money or the affordability to go and buy a skincare product. Okay, what did we do? So I think you guys already can imagine what you can do. So if you have to create an advertisement for these guys, what will you do? You will have the mom there, right? So we talked, then our communication was around that, okay, you are starting to take care, that's where the pimples are gonna come, you know, you are going out a lot, so you have to take care of your skin. And since your mom is taking a decision, your mom has to be a part of the communication. Yes. Similarly, if I talk about the multitaskers, giving you an example. So what we are saying that, okay, you are not taking care of yourself, you're very, very busy, but why don't we are trying to show some moments where a mom or a multitasker is getting time to take care of herself, and how relaxing that is, and how important that is, you know, in a postpartum situation or in a busy situation. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that once you segment your consumer, so that is statistics, that is data analytics. Then you try to understand the consumer, that is your insight. Then knowing that insight, you craft your strategy. That is where the business decision comes. Okay, so here I'm giving you an example of how all the 3 were done, and we were able to come up with some great communications and products around it. Okay. So penetration improved in the market and share enhanced. These numbers are not, these are mocked up, but we are getting very, very good results here. So what did you learn here? So large data, statistical analysis, consumer connect, which is one of the biggest, one of the biggest high you will get when you go and work in consumer industry, when you will learn how people behave, why people are behaving like this, why do they use a shampoo or not use a shampoo. So I think consumer industry is fascinating that way, okay? And you will work across the world. I mean, a woman in India will talk very differently from a woman in Indonesia, from a woman in Brazil. In Brazil, actually people, so in Brazil, a lady goes to, or a woman goes to a beauty parlor 13 times a year. So they're so conscious about their look and feel. Whereas maybe in India, it might not be the case. And for Indonesia, maybe it might be very, very different, you know. And so one lady told me that, you know, I want to look good because I want to get a job. Another lady told me I want to look good, otherwise my husband will leave me. So they're different. It's very interesting when you understand that data and you use that data to serve the consumer. Okay. Okay. So this is consumer segmentation. Let me quickly talk about the last one, which is, so any question, hold on to it, I'll respond. The third one is trigger and events, okay? When we are talking about trigger and events, what better than COVID-19, where we are locked down in our homes? So let's talk about what happened during COVID-19. So again, similar beauty and personal care. Now, COVID-19 brought in changes, which was, see, COVID-19 itself is unprecedented. We have not seen a COVID-19 before. So the consumer behavior changes that it brought was also dramatic, okay? So we saw some changes like people reprioritized to necessities, you know. Some of the luxury products were not important. You were not going out, you were not socializing, income was going down. So people were reprioritizing. Then people started having different habits, which will give new demand spaces. We'll talk about it. And then shopping habits, of course, all of us started doing online shopping, right? So I'm just talking about some of the consumer changes, but the behavior changed drastically. Now, with this behavior change, the business has mandated our team to say that, okay, with this, identify some trends that we can leverage and we can serve the consumers, okay? Now here, the beauty of this is that when you saw the first two case studies, there were historical data. There's transaction data, you're talking to consumers are talking from history, what they have been doing. But here, there is no consumer data, there is no history, there is no transaction data, okay? Point I'm trying to make here is that when you are in a data analytics team, when you are heading up a team like that, you might not have the Nielsen data always. Then what do you do? Yeah, how do you leverage what you have? Okay, so what did we do was we actually harnessed total social media, and we also kept. I mean, we looked at McKinsey, BCG publications, and we actually observed our own behavior. Okay, what's going on with us, so that we can use it and as a consumer behavior. Okay, we listed some top trends, we identified a few trends that are relevant, and we crafted a strategy around it. So let me show you what happened. So the three key trends that were identified. One was maskne. So I think some of you must have already seen that when you wear a mask, the skin behind your mask starts behaving differently. Maybe there are acne, or it's becoming dry, or it's becoming more highly pigmented. So people have started complaining about the skin behind the mask. That's number one. Number two, what we have seen is that home beauty, because you are not able to go to the salon, or also you're a little depressed, you don't know what to do. So people started using a lot of face masks, that use that time to maybe refresh and recharge their skin, or look good, for people who can afford. That's another one. And third one is e-com. I mean, I don't have to say anything about that. Now, I will talk about only one, okay, to give an example of how we identified and what did we do. Now, so first we looked at social media. Okay, the whole of Instagram was filled with maskne. I've given maybe only 4, 5, 7 examples. If you just go and type hashtag maskne in Instagram, you will get more than 100,000 tags. Okay, everybody's saying that the skin is going bad. So that's one. Then we also saw that the print media has started picking it up. Okay, so people are talking about how to avoid getting maskne. So these are some of the headlines from some of the newspapers, magazines, etc. So that was reconfirming. Okay, then we also saw that dermatologists are coming up. So a lot of the, if you look at the health magazines, dermatologists are talking about this whole maskne, and they said, okay, acne due to mask is supposed to be called maskne. So we said, okay, this is one of the trends that we want to talk about, and we want to serve our consumers. Okay, so what did we do? We worked very closely with our R&D team, and we understood the trigger and the remedy. Okay, so we said, why is this maskne happening? So it's a little bit of a scientific thing, so I don't want to get into that. So how the skin barrier, so basically what happens when you wear a mask, there's friction. Because of the friction, the skin barrier goes out, right? And also there's so much heat. Because of the heat, there is acne happening. Okay, so this kind of insights we found from the R&D team. And then we said, okay, what should we do? We should protect our skin against friction. We should refresh our skin while we are wearing a mask, and then we should cleanse after wearing a mask. Okay, now for that, now what happened is that we needed to do everything like on the go, right? So you don't have the time to build a new portfolio. So what we did is that for all this, there are different kind of products that need to be used for cleansing, for protecting, for creating your skin barrier, etc. So we looked at our portfolio and we said that, okay, out of maybe 100 variants that we have, 20 can be used for all this. Okay, so we said, okay, for this, maybe 5, for this, maybe 7, for this, maybe 13. I don't know. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so we said, okay, whatever we have, we're going to use it. And for that, we need good communication. And this is not only us, the entire industry did that. And so then what we did is that we started communicating it to our comms strategy. Okay, so you will see that Pons is saying that, you know, skip the maskne. Have you tried our newest range of maskne products? Skip the maskne. Okay, then again, AHC is saying about maskne. Okay, L'Oreal has done a great job. So if you go to Instagram and just see what L'Oreal is doing, you know, I mean, they've done a fantastic job with the similar kind of insights. I'm just giving you an example, what you can do with this kind of insights. Olay has done a great job. Olay is a little tricky, but they do a good job in explaining things. Mask on, maskne off. I thought it was a great thing that they said. Himalaya did a good job. I mean, they are not so much on the face, but they do things a little, you know, in a nice way, in a more, you know, their tone is different. But this is, so you can also see how tone, you know, I'm just trying to give an example of how consumer good industry works. You know, so this brand is talking like this brand is talking like this brand is talking like this. So with all the insights that you have, the consumers that you want, so that's why it's so important to know your consumer. You know, when I was talking about this piece here, so you know your consumers so well that you craft your communications around it. Okay, so yeah, so this is what we did. We got very good results, very good results. Penetration share, everything increased. And most importantly, we were able to serve our consumers with what they need. Yes, so the key takeaway is that limited data, unprecedented trigger, use of social media and consumer insight for strategy. Okay, so this is one of, this is a project that I really loved and I thought I should share the kind of work that we do. Then there's a gamut of work that you can do. There's a lot that is happening in the consumer. Don't have the time to talk about. You can do strategic pricing, pack price architecture, promotion management, price elasticity, trend analysis, habits and attitudes. So a lot, okay? Yeah, I mean, you guys can Google it. You guys can talk to different experts. You can get in touch with us. We can have these conversations going. But yes, what I showed today is just a drop in the ocean, but I hope that you've just given you some interest in the kind of work that goes on in this industry within data and analytics. I've talked enough. I think I'll stop now and I will turn the tables to you. So your turn now.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was quite insightful listening to all of this. And now I'd like to ask our participants to please ask any questions. Ma'am is here to answer them. So I'd like to open the floor to the participants now. Thank you.
Do we have any questions on the floor?
Either you guys really liked it or you guys didn't like it at all. Yeah, nothing in between if there's no questions.
Ma'am, I have a lot of questions. I'll just start asking.
Okay.
So, ma'am, through the course of the project, I got very intrigued by all that you were telling us. And the first thing that came in my mind was while we have been exposed to the technical side of analytics, that, okay, these are the tools that we need to use. But how, as a student, can I dive into a project like the one you just explained? How can I get a gist of it, a taste of it, like hands on practice? How does that work for us?
Do an internship for that. Yeah. Okay. Let me step back. So one thing is that I mean, see, for interest purpose, you can always pick up something and do. I mean, this whole web data is something that you can. That is the beauty. Yeah. So you can do that. Okay. But in order to get the actual, you will not be able to get transaction data. You know? So in order to get a transaction data, in order to really get involved in this kind of work, I think maybe the WiBD team will be able to support you better. But I think, you know, getting into some of the internships would be a good opportunity. Maybe with the big giants like the Unilevers of the world or with the startups. Yeah. So if you are in, and there is a lot going on and everybody is very, very open to interns who are interested. And then finally, it also sometimes, you know, converts to some job. But let's not talk about job now. But for interest purpose, I would suggest that keep your ears and eyes open. And okay, let me give you one tip on that. So if you don't see any internship coming up, write to people. Right? If you see that 10 people you know, write to people and say that I want to work. Never work for free. Even if it is 100 rupees, take that 100 rupees. But internship would be a great opportunity for you girls to get this kind of experience. And since you guys are already a student, maybe you can go through your institutions. But I would say yes, it would be good to get some kind of internship opportunity. And yeah. Yes. And, you know, be brave. You know, you can always say that I want to do this and that's why I'm doing it. You know, they will always say that we don't have an opportunity. You can say that this is what I'm seeing and I want to do. And then you get when you do the internship, you get the infrastructure to work on. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that long story short, that would be a good one. Yeah.
Ma'am, I have another question.
Okay.
So you have this, you know, long experience of working in the industry and data analytics and consumer goods. So what, according to you, is next in the field for analytics and consumer goods?
Okay, so I mean, I think we are in the right now in the next phase, which is the AI. Right, the whole basically, I mean, Soumya would tell you. I don't know if Meenakshi is here; she'll tell you. So when we started, we used to do this hands-on with SAS. Okay, SAS or SQL. Now it's all AI. Okay, and that is also leveraging, and that is also exploring the power of data to like infinite. Yeah. So I think AI is from the technical side, it is AI, and from the strategy side or from the business side, it is how you harness this AI data. Because there's information chaos. There's so much information. So what you have to do is, as a business leader, the next step is whether I understand the entire gamut of information that is presented to me. Okay, so as a student, I think, you know, the ML, the AI, the technical side is the next thing. And then I think it'll be like all automated, everything will be stored in cloud, one button. It will be the next thing. Hyper personalization will be from a consumer perspective. They are saying that when I talked about consumer segments, I showed you 5, right? So they are saying that, you know, In later years, there'll be like 7.2 billion consumers. Every consumer will be one. So it'll be like hyper personalization. That is on the business side of it. But from a personal side of it, what you all of us need to understand is that there's so much information. So how do I use my brain to actually understand that information and take the decisions out of it? I think that is where the game will start changing, because now everybody has access to the information. Using the information and taking the right decision will be the next game changer in this whole piece. Yeah.
You know, Madhushruti, this is Soumya here. I have an interesting story to share for Sephora, right? So Sephora did this AI, and when you mentioned about AI, how I wonder that, you know, Lenskart and all these companies are using AI to sort of facial recognition for your right frame glasses, right? So Priyanshi, think of how AI is being used to get you the experience more from an omni-channel experience, right? What you would experience in a store experience, you're able to get it digitally, and you're able to order glasses to fit your frame and your choice. You're able to do that, and they store that information so that next time you come to the store, you're able to very quickly decide, or they're able to very quickly decide the frames for you, because you've made certain choices in the past, or you've tried something on their site, and that experience is being recorded and stored, and for them to sort of use and, you know, cross-sell or upsell a particular product of theirs or a new offering of theirs. So that's how I think the entire data is being used today. Right?
That's a great story, Soumya. So I just remember now. So they're doing it for skin also. So if you look at L'Oreal, or if you look at Pond's, so you just talk about your skin and they will tell you what product to use for your skin. So yes, that is the level of, it's going to a very, very different level. Actually, it's fascinating beyond imagination, actually. Yeah.
More questions from the students. You have Madhushruti's time for 7 more minutes, so I don't want any of those minutes to go waste. How come nobody's asking any questions? Everybody's like stunned with your presentation.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing in between. Like maybe it just did not make sense, or maybe like everybody's clear about what to do in
No, it was so well explained. Like, I don't think anyone has any questions because everything was crystal clear from the PPT itself and the way you explained it.
Okay, let's take that. Let's go with that. But
yes, even I agree that it was a wonderful session. I'm Jasdeep this side. I'm from IGDTUW, and it was a wonderful session, and so very clearly, you know, everything being depicted, how the statistics go. So very impressive. And I'm sure, you know, the students who haven't joined, they have really missed something. So, but then, you know, online platforms, they have its own ways.
Thank you, Jasdeep. So yes, the idea should trigger the interest. I'm very happy to help. And yes, if there are no questions, maybe we give back 5 minutes of their life, or otherwise I'm happy to wait for another 6 minutes if up to you guys.
I think we can switch on the videos and take a snapshot at least, Anubhuti.
Definitely, ma'am. I was just waiting for a bit more questions. So I would request any participants who would feel comfortable to switch on their camera so we could take a screenshot.
Let me just go towards the light and show myself, right? I have been talking from the dark, I guess. Okay.
So hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Swatai Parekh from Engchal. I'm from the sales part of the world and have been in technology sales for about 16 years for now. Unfortunately, I could not join towards the beginning of the session. I got in just when you were starting the Q&A. I would love to know what was presented. So is there any way I can see the deck or have a recording of the session?
The session is recorded. Thank you. The session is already recorded, and Anubhuti, you guys will be sharing it on LinkedIn. I don't know, how will you share it? Yeah, the session is recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, so you would be able to view the recording for the link. So.
That would
I
be great.
You can visit Women in Big Data, links at both LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social medias, and all the related items related to such recordings, you can find it there.
That would be great. I'll look it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati, for joining. Swati actually joined us from Incture. So she is actually going to be managing CPG sales, so particular interest. So
Yes.
Madhushruti, I would be connecting you to her as well. So, we can share some good practices on how to use data and effectively in, consumer goods.
Absolutely.
That would be great. Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if there are no more questions, then maybe we could switch on the camera and, have everyone, whoever's comfortable, that is, switch on the camera. Thank you, Dr. Jasdeep, for joining, and also a wonderful session hosted by the, Indira Gandhi Technical Institute of Women. We've been sort of spearheading these sessions over the last year or so. So very thankful for their active participation.
That was not active participation. I don't know what happened. I was, but the girls are busy with their exams and their follow-up of the semesters.
So maybe I know it's a Friday. Usually we host this on Saturdays. So this one is being a Diwali hangover, I must say. So good. There is also a feedback form that has been just posted on the chat window. So please do share your feedback, and we shall.
And all the links and details about Women in Big Data, where you can find these recordings also, and other activities and events related to coming up in the past ones also.
Thanks.
I think we can take the screenshot right now. And I've already taken a few. So
okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you so much.
Madhushruti ma'am.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Jasdeep ma'am and Soumya ma'am. And thank you to all the participants for joining and enjoying the session.
Thank you, Madhushruti. Thank you
so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.